Yes.
So, Julie, do you want to call the meeting to order?
Yes, so good afternoon, good evening, or good morning to everyone today. I would like to call the Game Annual Assembly to order, Madam President. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Julie Lynn. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I think we have participants from the States and we have also European participation. So thank you very much for joining us at the 2023 Game Annual Assembly. Dale, can I ask you always for the next slide? Thank you. So this is our agenda for today. I would like to update you on the changes in the executive committee as well as on the game board of directors. Would like to remind everybody on the vision and mission of game and also give you a little bit of my interpretation. Then Dean Beals will update us from a treasurer perspective. And then we are really coming into the exciting stuff, the updates from the different committees. And Mila Kostic is going to update from the education committee perspective. Celeste Kalanko is going to update from the membership committee perspective. Amy Farr is going to update you on the communication committee, and David Pollard will talk about the Futurist and Innovation Committee. And then it gets really exciting because you all know GAME is a volunteer organization, and we actually started under Celeste Kalanko's leadership last year, the Lou Miller Award. And also this year we were voting for one individual out of many, and I already have to say thank you very much who volunteered over the year in absolutely great projects, because this is all above and beyond your normal work. It's your free time you're spending with game, and we have a new winner of the Lou Miller Award, and only one person knows this, and this is our executive director. So hang in there, hang in there to the end to know who actually won this year. Next slide, please. So welcome everybody once more. I think you know me already. My name is Eva Thalmann. I'm the current president of GAME. I have to say that I'm very honored to lead the organization. It is absolutely fantastic to work with so many really wonderful individuals in this area on lifelong learning in healthcare, and also to actually meet you as members also in different activities we have. So thank you very much. Next slide. This is the game board of directors. You see we have a new president-elect, Kirk Terry. He was just elected as president-elect, and I really would like to give him a very warm welcome also at this annual assembly. We have Celeste Kalanko, past president, and Celeste, again, thank you for all your leadership over the last years during the pandemic, when you hold us together, even if the environment was not very friendly to us. Dean Beals, our treasurer, and you will hear from him in this hour. Julie Lynn Noel, who is our secretary, and Dale Kummerle, who is our executive director. So this is also the executive committee, and then we are also in the board of directors, and in the board of directors we also have Joe Varney, Lee Van Wyk, Mila Kostic, Susan Murray, Adrian Ott, Miriam Ullmann, Amy Farr. And as board emeritus, Lou Miller, who is the founder of GAME and who still is, I would think, like the grandfather of the organization, always with a good advice and with good thoughts in several of our board meetings. I would really like to thank the whole board for very interesting discussions, for hanging in and for actually helping to build this organization. Next slide. Just to remind everybody who is new in the board, and a very warm welcome to Amy, Mila, and Adrian, and of course to Kirk. Next slide. So what is the vision of GAME? Maybe I remind everybody, GAME is a non-for-profit, multi-stakeholder organization. And our vision is to shape the future of lifelong learning in healthcare worldwide. So what do we mean with this? Multi-stakeholder means we have members from medical societies, from industry, from medcom agencies, we have accreditors as members, we have academic institutions, and we are a global organization. So we have most of our members from North America and from Europe, but we also have some in Asia Pacific, in the Middle East, and we would like actually to enlarge membership also in South America and Africa. So it is a truly global organization. And the future of lifelong learning in healthcare is something which is important for all of the stakeholders. And what we really want to do with GAME is that we want to have GAME as a neutral platform where all the stakeholders who sometimes also disagree on topics or how the future should look like can come together and discuss in a neutral and safe platform of how we as community really shape the future of learning in medicine. How can we do this, or what is important to do this? This is actually, Dale, can you go back? This is actually, and I want to say a few words about the organizational culture. It is all about inclusivity. Yeah, I think this is extremely important, and it's credibility, integrity, and transparency. And I think everybody who knows me, everybody who knows the past President Celeste, but I can assure you also everybody who knows Kirk as incoming president, we are pretty bold people and we are very transparent, and we actually really believe in this organization. And we also would like to invite everybody, bring your friends, encourage them to our programs, and maybe they become members, and we really want to have a global reach out. Now, Dale, we can go to the next slide. So here are some strategic imperatives. One is to increase membership, and Celeste is going to talk about this. I think inclusivity is really important. Then we also are looking into develop strategic collaborations. So GAME is one organization in this field of learning. We have others. We have the Alliance, we have MAPS, we have AMI. But I think, all of us have certain aspects or cover certain aspects in this field. And we also need to figure out how we best collaborate together. Enhance educational and research initiatives. You already saw we actually started to have more webinars. We are certainly going to have live meetings again, even if at the moment we are more digital. We had publications and we will go on with publications. So really to enhance the whole educational environment. And last but not least, to build financial sustainability, which might be a little bit difficult in a time post-pandemic, where we also actually see again decreases in budgets, financial challenges. But I'm actually also reaching out to all for-profit organizations, including the industry, including medical education, communication agencies, to support GAME, because I really believe it is worth it. And as you know, it's an integrated approach across all these pillars. And it is something where we also said last year, still with Celeste, we said we need to increase our communications. And I hope that you already feel it. I think we have a really great chair for our communications committee. Amy is going to report back. We really trying to reach out to you, and I'm only happy if I get the feedback from you as members that you say, we don't want to hear from you anymore because we are getting actually communication every day. Then might be we are there, yeah. I don't think we are there still, so you will get more information and more communication from us. Next slide. Yeah, so when I started, I thought this is a great opportunity also to start the President's Dialogue, because first of all, I want to hear from you and I want to discuss with you. The President's Dialogue are 1-hour webinars, and we actually are looking into topics which you think are interesting. We did a survey beginning of the year with the membership, and thank you for everybody who answered. And we will go on with this. It's 1-hour meetings. I can invite actually experts in the field, and I have to say the last one where Mila was the co-chair and developed the program together with me on outcomes we had a great audience, we had a great debate, and we are certainly going on with the President's Dialogues. I give you a little bit of statistics. You actually see that we are increasing the numbers of participants, that we also have a nice distribution in between IME, academics, industry, consultants, and accreditors. So we also have accreditors in board, which is really cool. The Net Promoter Score, NPS, which is the question, would you recommend this webinar to a colleague, is in between 90 and 100 median. Most of the participants are GAME members, 70 to 80%. But we also have friends of GAME who are not GAME members. So invite your friends, bring your family. This is exactly what we want to do with the President's Dialogue. The relevance of the program, we had in between 90 and 100. And again, Mila, thank you very much for supporting last time. We got a 100, which I thought is outstanding and nearly unheard of. And how you want the communication, you actually tell us it's via email, so expect more emails from us, the GAME website and social media, and we are working with LinkedIn and with Twitter. So in a nutshell, that's the President Dialogue. There will be at least 2 more dialogues this year, and we will ask you over the summer, which topics do you want to discuss, because it's your President's Dialogue. You can tell us what you want to discuss, and we bring the experts, and you join, and you actually can discuss with the experts.
And thank you, Eva. For those of you who don't know me, I'm not the Membership USA. I am in the UK, Celeste Kalanko. And as Eva has mentioned, I am the past president of the GAME organization, and I am currently the chair of the membership and the nominations committee. But the membership chair, I am the only member of the membership committee at this moment. So you'll hear a plea very quickly for some volunteers in that respect. Next slide, please. So our membership and engagement, we have currently 87 active members. This is since June of 2022. We haven't had any new members since January. We had an influx prior to that. Our peak last year was 119 members. And I think kind of alluding to also what Dean had to say, we are looking at different ways to engage members in membership and looking at different types of levels of membership. You know, there have been discussions on pricing. What we want to make sure is that we ensure that everybody who wants to be a member of GAME has the ability to do so. We are an organization that is primarily supported by countries in North America, Europe, and the Middle East at this point in time. But as our name entails, the Global Alliance for Medical Education, we want to ensure that we are reaching audiences from all around the world. And as you can see, there is definitely interest in GAME, purely from our web statistics. As I mentioned, a great number of people are coming from North America, in particularly the US, but you can see that there's interest in GAME in all of the different continents, including Asia, including Oceania, including South and Latin America, and including parts of Africa. So we really are looking to focus more on how we can get more of an involvement and an engagement with these different members, and how we can convert these people who are coming to our site, who are looking at our information, how we can make them members of GAME. Next slide, please. So we have had some membership goals for 23 and 2024. To be fair, I think some of them have been a little bit slow in getting kicked off, partially because, as I'm mentioning, number one, the formation of a solid membership committee. Right now, I am the only member, and I am definitely looking for members. So anybody who wants to get involved, today, you can either put the message in the chat, send a message to myself privately, or any member of the board. We would definitely welcome that. As I just mentioned, we're looking to appeal to a bit of a broader audience. We had a membership survey that we did put out last year, and we are looking to try to meet the needs of the membership group, and for those who would like to be members. That survey went out to over 300 individuals, and we got quite a nice response from that. So we are looking to try to make sure that we are meeting those needs. Again, we would like to continue some of our momentum that we gained. We have lost a little bit of that earlier in the year, but I firmly believe with the different activities, with the engagement that we've had, that we can certainly bring that back up in a very near future. And, you know, we want to use the tactics to engage our current and new members. You know, we're looking to have budget conscious activities and incentives for the different organizations. We understand that it's not just, you know, we want to attract new members, but we want to ensure that our existing members benefit from their relationships. Some of you have been members for a very, very long period of time. And finally, we have been coordinating with the Communications Committee, and I want to acknowledge and thank Amy Farr for that, because she has really done an amazing job in boosting our communications throughout the organization, especially from a social perspective. And, you know, part of our goal is to look to partner more to help increase that membership at that area, and really make sure that we are clearly communicating the benefits of membership. And next slide, final slide. And so some of the tactics that we've thought about and talking about is, you know, we're reinstating our membership spotlight. So anybody who is a member of GAME and would like to be featured in our spotlight, please reach out to us. You know, we're looking to invite a friend, and some more information will be coming on this soon, but you can enter a drawing for a gift card if you invite a friend who becomes a member. And we are doing more networking opportunities, you know, some Zoom networking types of events, definitely the President's Dialogue that we've talked about. And we're hoping that eventually we will regionally get some of the board members to sign up and host some different networking events, and maybe we'll even have some raffles and surprises in there. But I have to approve that with my treasurer over there. So that's that's my membership review for this year, and I believe I'm turning it over to our next individual. Amy, you're up.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm here. I was just smiling that I'm from France. So, for those that don't know me, my name is Amy Farr. I come from New Zealand, and I live in France and I work in Switzerland. So just to mix things up, and I currently work for the European Respiratory Society in Lausanne in Switzerland. So if we move along to the presentation. So we have, it's quite like Celeste, the Communications Committee. We have a few members. At the moment, we are not actively meeting as a committee, and I think there's a very good reason for this. We're just in the process of putting a process in place with how we deal with our communications, how best we come to the committees. So at the moment, we haven't really put this committee together. In saying that, if you are passionate about communications, if you like working on websites, on developing text, please do get in touch. We're very, very happy to have people that want to get on board, because many hands make light work. So that's the point about that. So moving along. We really have a vision for the communications, and I guess this has been touched on already by Eva and Celeste, and kind of repeating the same things. We really want to make it really clear what GAME is doing, the activities we're doing, what the benefits are for members, and to really create a platform where people can come and discuss and really collaborate. So that would be the vision for the communications and what we are trying to do. I'm not sure if we're there yet. We're still working on it. So happy to hear your feedback on that, how you want us to, how you'd like to hear from us, and other ideas that you may have. On to the next slide. So these are just some statistics, very boring, from some recent activities. We have been very active in LinkedIn and more recently on Twitter. We are getting people viewing our content. We're getting some impressions. Our engagement rate is around 7%. From industry standards, a good engagement rate is around 2 to 3%. So I think that people that are seeing our content, they are clicking on it, they are interacting. So that's really positive, and I think that shows that we're on the right track on our communications. I think our next big challenge would be to really look at the website and to really make sure that we're signposting and making it as clear as possible for everyone to find our content. And I think that's going to be a big challenge for us moving forward. So that is all I had to share on the communication side, but the key points I want you to take away is, if you are keen to get involved, please let us know. And if you have any ideas about communications or how you'd like to be communicated to, please let us know. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm next. So hello, everybody. My name is Mila Kostic, and I am a newly minted co-chair of the Education Committee for GAME. And I am really thrilled to be working with Dr. Miriam Ullman. I wish she were here with us, but unfortunately she could not be. So I will talk about some programs that I was not part of, unfortunately, that were developed last year, and then about some of the future things that we are thinking about. The first big thing that happened under the leadership of the Education Committee, obviously, is the leadership program that launched. It was a pilot program that launched last year. It ran for 12 months, and it was a terrific program. Obviously, a very successful program. We have some metrics to share with you. And so I'd like to spend a couple of minutes on that and then talk about the outlook. So next slide, please. Here's the executive summary about this global CPD leadership program that some of you were part of in developing. I'm actually very glad to see, I think Samar is with us. So under her leadership, Amy's also here, Miriam and Joe developed this terrific program that consisted of 4 modules. And of course, we had some guest faculty who also contributed. Would you please move to the next slide? So the program outline is here for you to see in a very brief, not very detailed way, but as you can see, 4 modules, first focusing on the general leadership and CPD sort of thoughts. Each module ran for 4 weeks, and it incorporated assessments. So basic concepts of leadership in practice during the first module launched in January, and then a set essential leadership communication skills, which was very meaningful, I think, to many of the participants. The third one had to do with building teams, in particular interesting in today's healthcare environment, and the distinction and the similarities, of course, between mentorship and coaching. And then the 4th module was focused on leading change in learning organizations. And it's important to mention that this program was really free to members, which is, I think, a fantastic benefit of being a member of GAME. And if you move to the next slide, Dale, we can see that 37 unique learners, participants took advantage of this. And it was interesting to see that we had participants from US, of course, but also Austria, Egypt, UK, Philippines, and Germany. So definitely a global leadership program. More than 50% of the learners were newbies to leadership programs, so they never participated in any formal leadership program, which is telling us that it's really reached the right audience. So it was designed for current and future leaders, but it's really important to see that people can be moving their organizations and their teams with the help of a program like this. So other things to share is that, as you can see, most participants rated the logistics of the program very, very favorably. They liked the timeline, they liked how it was organized, but they also appreciated the educational resources that were provided. Next slide, please. Each of the modules was, as I said, had some assessments built in, pre-work built in, and then 2 hours of the actual synchronous time with the presenters. But I also want to say that at the end of the program, I think 100% of the folks made commitment to change. And then this was a follow-up result, 2-month follow-up result, where a large number, so 77% of the participants made changes in their leadership practice after participating. And this is very meaningful. So many of the changes had to do with communication styles and improving their communication styles, but also working as change agents in working with their teams and improving their organizations. Next slide, please. We also looked at some of the barriers to change. As you can see, many of these are similar to any barriers to change analysis you've ever done in your programming. So it had to do with time. It has to do with other people. The change is different because of the other. But it's also see that there are folks who were quite open and had sort of growth mindset and self-awareness to recognize that changing their own habits and adapting to consequences to change is really at the crux of the barriers to change. Next slide, please. There were a number of really good recommendations for the future of the program, which we are certainly taking to heart when looking at the next iteration. So they included things like working on facilitation, that is part of the breakout sessions, but also is building the skill. And looking at the assessments and how we assign those across the modules, so some kind of standardization potentially. And as I said, I think this the cohort of the participants will be probably the future leaders of the program as well. Next slide, please. So this is a quick update to the committee, as you have already heard. The theme is the committees are not really committees at this stage. So we have a few people leading committees, but we are looking for active members. So that's the case with this committee as well. This is some facts about what happened. So at the end of 2022, unfortunately, Dr. Samar Abulsod had to step down, and so then Miriam continued as the former chair, and I joined this year. And so we are co-chairing. I'm chair in training, so to speak, and it is definitely a transitional phase. So we are putting out a call to new members, and those of you who either have great ideas or experience or would just like to participate, I think any membership organization works best when people collaborate on projects. So this is one of those opportunities, and I invite you on Miriam and my behalf to let us know if you'd like to be part of this committee and participate. I've put out our emails, or you can just certainly reach out to info@game.com. Next slide, please. So in terms of the outlook for the 2023, we certainly want to establish a day of either bi-weekly or bi-monthly or monthly committee meeting day, where we are looking at maybe Tuesday, but stay tuned, when we will invite everybody who wants to join this committee to just come. And if you can come, just come. If you cannot, we will understand. And so it will be a standing day and time when we will hopefully meet regularly. One of the first priorities of this committee will be to decide on the future iteration of the leadership program, and with that, what kind of technology to employ to help deliver this program. As well, we are looking at how to create community of practice or communities of practice and learning, in particular to the leadership program. And so whether that's regionally, certainly alumni of the program will have their own, and so forth. So again, an opportunity for you to get involved. We are looking at future programs and projects and how to prioritize them. Eva talked about the outcomes webinar we shared, and I think that was a good start on that topic. We are also interested in building capacity and skills for lifelong learning, which is part of the mission of this organization. And so I know that many of you are skilled or interested in that. Stay tuned. And so we are also, as a group, as a board, looking at feasibility and the need for the annual meeting, potentially in 2024. So I believe that is probably the end of my story. And I want to thank you and turn it over to David.
Thanks, Mila. So hello, everyone. I'm David. As you can see there from the flags, I'm based in the south of Ireland at the moment, and have the pleasure of being the chair for the Futurist and Innovation Committee. And I just want to mention as well, obviously, Celine Carrera, who has just retired as the co-chair of this committee as well over the last month or so, and also in the past year as well. Obviously, a big shout out to Suzanne Murray, who was a co-chair as well with Celine too. So a lot of the work that's been done up to this date is thanks to both Celine and Suzanne and the committee that's behind it. So for those of you who maybe are new and have joined recently, it might be interesting to take a look at what is the Futurist and Innovation Committee. You'll hear a lot of people talking about the FIC, and we're fortunate enough to have quite a few people on the committee at the moment. But we will be looking for people to join. You know, it's always a case of the more the merrier with some of these and trying to get diverse voices in. But for what we're trying to achieve, I guess it's about being forward thinking. It's advising the Global Alliance for Medical Education, the board, and also supporting the other committees around the future trends, those that are relative to the learning sciences, medical and health education, lifelong learning, and emerging technologies. So this is one of the main initiatives from this, and out of this is the Futurist Forum, which took place in Montreal last year. We were fortunate enough to go out there, meet people in person, get an opportunity to look at design thinking. We were part of an Innovathon, which was a longitudinal model where we took challenges that were taking place within this ecosystem. And then over 6 months, we had 3 different teams that were bringing forward these projects, those who were part of the members of the Global Alliance for Medical Education, which was really exciting. So we can skip on to the next slide there, please. And I think this is something that is quite interesting. So there was a bit of a culmination of all of this work that had gone in that took place recently. So we had our Futurist Forum website on the 23rd of May. We were fortunate enough to have 52 participants within that. We had 23 from the faculty, the teams that had taken place in this Innovathon process, and also about 30 of you, 29 in total, came along to watch what had happened here. So within this, there was a couple of different topics that we touched on, things that we thought were important to the overall conversation and discussions for medical education. One of those being bias and conflict of interest between collaborators within this space. This is something that we'll continue to have a discussion about, and we'll have a further webinar on with Terry Soleus as well. So any of you who were in Montreal with us will be familiar with Terry and his work within that space. So we'll definitely advise you getting involved with that. But then as well, we also had an amazing discussion that was facilitated by Celeste, who's here with us, and a number of participants and panelists from the pharmaceutical spaces, the alliances and independent spaces too, to have this conversation, a little bit of a disruptive one, around the opportunities for multi-stakeholder collaborations and the disruptive technologies for lifelong learning that were coming up moving forward as well. And then I think what hooked everyone in to kind of keep people really engaged with it was the fact that we had an award at the end of it all, this Thomas Kellner 2023 award for the best Innovathon team that came forward. The North American team won that, but it was an amazing opportunity. There you go. We've got Dale and Dean and the team there, brilliant selfie guys from over in Montreal, and they were the first winners for this Innovathon process. And I think it goes to show this kind of opportunity to work within the Global Alliance for Medical Education, this collaboration that happens within here, to learn from each other. I think that was one of the big things that came out of it from one of the teams, and to engage with it. So we'll be looking to do this further over the next year or so, to try and engage more, collaborate more. So if any of you are interested in that, if you have any questions, want to engage with us, please reach out, because again, we're growing, we're trying to build up some momentum for this, looking at new models for how to engage with this Innovathon process, and obviously as well, trying to develop out a webinar series around interesting topics that we can start to spark discussions and also actions out the far side of it as well. So you can see there, from our perspective as well, we'll be looking at sustainable tools to allow us to be able to do this, developing out new clear roles, responsibilities within the committee itself, so that we understand each other's scope and be able to identify where we're moving forward with this. And of course then as well, not only feeding our own strategic space within the committee itself and feeding that up the line around the trends that we mentioned and so on, but also getting that back from the other committees as well, and trying to build up that cooperative, collaborative approach. So it's great to hear Mila and the others chatting about their committees too, and that they're growing out, and it's exciting now that we'll be able to hopefully align and bring forward and have a big impact out of it. So that to me is super exciting. And of course as well, we'll be looking for a new co-chair to join me as well within this committee. So there'll be opportunities there over the next little while, because I think the best work is done in partnership. So I'm hoping that there'll be someone over the next couple of months that will join me in co-chairing this Futurist Innovation Committee as well, because honestly, super exciting, a lot of fun, lots of work, but a lot of fun to be part of. So yeah, I think Dale, I don't know if we can move on to the next slide there, if we have one. Yeah, that's it. I think we're done. If you've got questions, fire it into the chat, and we're looking forward to working with you a little bit more over the next while, and we'll send you some updates when we have some dates and some topics set up for the next 6 months.
Very well. Well, thank you very much. I think the next one is the Lou Miller Award, Dale, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. So first of all, thank you to all the committee chairs who presented. I only can repeat what I am telling everybody. This is a volunteer organization, and everything which is done here is above and beyond your normal job, and in your spare time, in your free time, and hence I am very grateful and very thankful to you. Now, what is the Lou Miller Award? Last year, under Celeste's leadership, the board decided that because we are a volunteer organization, because there are so many people who spend so much time in this organization without being paid, that we need to acknowledge them and that we should actually have an award. Now, everybody who knows the organization already for a little while knows that Lou Miller actually is the founder of the organization. I think it was 1995. I know that Lou is also in the meeting. I think 1995 is correct. And he is not only the founder of GAME, he also founded the Alliance earlier on. So in acknowledgement of Lou and his innovation, futuristic, forward-thinking mind of founding a global organization, we actually decided to name this award Lou Miller Award. And it is really to acknowledge all the hard work, all the volunteer work of so many people. Dale, can you give me the next slide? So these are the nominees of this year. Celine Carrera, who was the co-chair of the Futurist and Innovation Committee, and she did a tremendous work in supporting the Futurist Forum in Montreal, which was a face-to-face meeting, and also the Futurist Forum 2023, which was a 2-hour webinar. David Pollard, who is her co-chair and partner in crime, who also was involved in both meetings. And I know, David, you spent a lot of time together with Celine, bringing us together, kind of pushing us forward to get both meetings done. A very special thanks to Daniel Gainey. Daniel actually is a long-standing member of GAME. He did a tremendous effort of helping us with putting grants to sponsors, putting these grants together, putting these grants into grant systems. And I know from Celeste and I know from Dale, this is hours of work. Yeah, this is not something you just do in 5 minutes and off you go and it's done. Yeah, so this is major time investment. Then we have Samar Abusod, and she was the co-chair of the educational committee. And we just heard from Mila how extensive the leadership program was last year. 4 models, every model is over several weeks. It was follow-ups, it was pre-readings, it was putting stuff together, it was actually getting faculty together, so major undertaking. So Samar, thank you for doing this. I know beside your university job, this took a lot of time. And then last but not least, Pedro Malha. He is from Open Audience, and Pedro actually was supporting us this year. He is pretty new to GAME, but he was supporting us this year with his team for the Digital Futurist Forum. And I have to say, while David and Celine were really pulling faculty and program together, Pedro kept us all kind of in time and on record, from a technical perspective, also from a communication together with Amy, from a communication perspective. So we are very grateful to Pedro and to the Open Audience team, who not only supported us with their platform, with the digital platform, but actually for the time effort you spent on GAME. Okay, Dale, I don't know if we have a drum or we have trumpets or whatever. It's da-da-da-da, and the winner is Samar. Congratulations, Samar.
She's been promoted to a panelist if she wants to say something.
So thank you very much. I'm really grateful. I'm so humbled by this nomination. I'm so proud of being part of this wonderful organization, and I'm so proud of everyone I worked with. And I think everyone you mentioned, not only in the list of the nominees, but everyone who works in the organization deserves an award, because, as you said, it's they're volunteering their time, their knowledge, lots of things for the sake of promoting learning and supporting medical education. So I'm really very, very grateful and humbled. I'm so glad to be part of the education committee, and I think I was so fortunate to work with a wonderful team who we were a family, and I think that's why this was a success. We were very, very passionate and dedicated, and will do whatever it takes to make the leadership program a success. So I think it's I would like to thank, of course, Miriam, Amy, Joe, Dale, Audrey, and Solicit for their help. Without their help, the leadership program would not have been possible. And again, I'm so humbled and grateful for being nominated for this wonderful award. I would like to thank Lou for founding this organization from the very beginning, and I'm totally proud to have an award that holds his name. So thank you all, and I really wish that the leadership program would continue and would grow and would build on the success that it already achieves. Thank you all for the wonderful nomination. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Samar. And I think we have Lou also. Lou, do you want
I wanted to extend my congratulations to Samar, and it's nice to still be alive when you have an award attached to your name. So, thank you very much. I've got to go on to my next Zoom meeting that I have to run at 10 o'clock, so I'm pleased to listen to this and see the progress of GAME, and well, you have my full support and participation for as long as I can do that. Have a happy rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Lou, and you are a true inspiration for all of us in every aspect, I have to say. And Celeste is nodding because you are our hero. Samar, thank you very much. I want to say thank you to you, but to everybody who was nominated this year. We have a question, actually, what is the nomination process? So the nomination process comes out of the board of directors, and the board of directors is then voting, yeah. In all transparency, I think this is because we see what everybody contributes. But of course, we are a member organization. If you as member think somebody should be nominated, send us an info, yeah. But also nominate people who might volunteer to later on actually get the Lumila Award, yeah. So, yeah, wonderful. And I'm very happy, Samar, to see you. And I hope you will actually stay with GAME and, when time allows, join again in the one or the other activity.
Definitely.
So,
Thank you.
no, sorry, go on. Okay. Okay, so with this, actually, I give you a little preview on the rest of the year. We are certainly as organization going to join the European CME Forum, which is in November. We are also going to go on with the President's Dialogue. We will send a survey over summer. You can actually pick and choose the topic you want to have discussed. And then we will go and find really good faculty and specialists and experts to discuss it with you. And then actually I'm allowed to announce a program which is going to be led by Celeste, which is CME CPT around the world. I'm personally overexcited. We heard from many of you, if you come from industry or if you come from a medical education communications company, these were the two stakeholder groups who really were very vocal on we would like to hear more about CME CPT, not only in North America, in the US, but also in Europe, even in different countries in Europe, in South America, in Asia Pacific. So we are going to kick off the series, and I would like to really invite everybody to join. Celeste is going to get different stakeholders together out of the different regions or countries. So it will be controversial, yeah. I already hope it will be controversial. And yeah, so stay tuned, yeah. And we are certainly going to give an update by latest December of how 2024 will look like. So with this, do we have any other questions?
We do have a question from Dina George. It was back at 9:50 a.m. before all the congratulations messages.
Okay.
She basically is asking, how does GAME advocate for members, for example, if there are any issues that affect global CME, as in the new EACCME 3.0 criteria, to get clarification on behalf of the CME community at large?
You want me to take that one, Ava?
Yeah, maybe you take this one.
Okay, yeah. I think, and Bina, that's a very, very good question. As a European provider, it is something that's definitely affecting us. I think that is one of our challenges, and that is part of how the CME around the world concept came up, is realizing that there are these different avenues and advocacy groups. I think, to be fair, we are probably looking at more potentially aligning with some of the other groups that are maybe more effective in certain areas. We are a small group, and for us to be able to actually advocate specifically region to region on our own is quite challenging. And that is why we do reach out to other organizations who have more advocacy within a certain area when something like that comes up. So very happy to get more involved, and anybody who's interested in working on an area like regionally from an advocacy perspective, please do reach out, because your expertise could be very, very helpful.
Thank you, Celeste. Any other questions, or did we answer all questions, Dale?
That's the questions. I did give Bina an opportunity to speak if she would like.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that, I really appreciate that, because I actually did reach out to the secretary, of EACCME, because I met him at the last joint accreditation workshop. And since he provided me with his email and said, reach out to me with any questions, I did. But I haven't heard back from him. So, but this is something that is, as you know, that is affecting us. And I'm not sure if maybe they didn't interpret their new guidelines correctly. I don't know. It just seemed a little, bizarre that they would all of a sudden not support, commercial supported, even though it's an unrestricted educational grant. So we're just looking for clarification and perhaps, I know the guidelines are going to go into effect soon, June 19th. Yeah. So I was hoping that, there was something, perhaps some clarifications that EACCME would issue that would assist all the other providers, because I know this is a big buzz in the community.
And I think, Bina, if you would like to connect with me individually, I am part of another group that we are looking at that as well. So please do feel free to reach out, and happy to have a chat.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of shows where we are as an organization as GAME, is because there are so many of us from so many different parts of the world that when somebody does have a question or a need, it's that network where you can reach out. So while we may not be able to do things as a whole as an organization, we are able to connect people to help facilitate improvement in lifelong learning and in the CME CPD world around the world.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. I'm just looking. We are spot on time. Well done, everybody. Yeah, thank you very much. I hope everybody sees how fortunate we all are that we have this great team at GAME, and what is really coming out of a small member organization. And I only can repeat, with volunteers. But it is our passion. Yeah, it is our passion that we really want to move the needle, that we really want to understand how is learning going to look like in the future, and that we also want to include all stakeholders and all parties in the discussion. And I think some of the examples were very good, which we got from David, where we had actually the European medical societies in the Futurist Forum, industry, AC Forum, and a Medcom agency representative, where we had an accreditor in the program. And I think that's the way we want to go. I would love to invite everybody, stay tuned, join our programs, support us, work with us, volunteer time. It will be even better if we are growing. And with this, I would like to say thank you, and I wish you a wonderful afternoon.